The newly released book, Becoming the Richest Person is Just My Side Job by Chidian has been released. This time, Lao Feng has nothing left. Host. What is your dream? LV Xiaobu. Just eat and wait for death, do as you please. Host. In that case, how did you become the world's richest person? LV Xiaobu. How do I know? How do you ask the losers to make money? Really? I need to go back to sleep. Host. Don't LV Xiaobu. Reward, 5,000. Host. Kneel down to bid farewell to young Master Xiaobu, who will unify the world for generations. LV Xiaobu. Wow, Kaka. Keywords of the novel. Loser system in Huadu without pop-ups, loser system in Huadu TXT complete collection download, loser system in Huadu latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. The defensive son goes to war. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. The defensive son goes to war making money. Why do we need to make money? Making money is someone else's business, my task is to be a spendthrift, to enjoy, to just eat and wait for death. Hey, you ask me, how did I become the world's richest person through being a spendthrift? How do I know? A quote from the spendthrift LV Xiaobu. LV Xiaobu, drowsy-eyed, threw out the alarm clock that woke him up and continued to fall asleep. Wait a moment, where is this special? LV Xiaobu sat up and looked around at the unfamiliar environment, wondering, I remember I was hit by a car to save those two bear kids. And at this moment, a memory fragment flooded into his mind that was not his. 80% of the content was just some flashy and obscene content, and the rest was some daily memories that were very simple and easy to remember. After all, memories were never about spending money, not making money, and had no important content at all. In short, 3 words. The spendthrift. After a pause, LV Xiaobu understood that he had been reborn in the body of a black sheep. He suddenly laughed and said, ha ha ha, it's great. What I want is this kind of life. The highest realm of life is not to squander and eat recklessly, waiting for death. Ha ha ha. Good people have good karma, God has eyes. At this moment, a voice in his mind interrupted his hearty laughter. Host, are you awake? Then prepare to be a loser. What kind of ghost? LV Xiaobu was suddenly startled. Let me introduce myself. I am a spendthrift subsystem. Don't be surprised, the host. Please recall the system stream novels you have read, and you will understand my existence, the system said. LV Xiaobu. System. Why doesn't the host speak? LV Xiaobu rolled his eyes and said, You've finished speaking, can I still talk nonsense? Anyway, they've all been reborn, and it's normal to have a golden finger with them. Can you introduce them to me? System. The loser subsystem, of course, is going to be a loser. By using the amount of the loser, you can draw a prize from me or buy something in the mall. The loser will win a prize of 1 million yuan. LV Xiaobu said, except for this 1 million yuan amount that I've never seen before in my previous life, everything else is quite simple. Forget it, take the money. I'm going to be a spendthrift now. I've been wanting to try these days when I have money but no place to spend it. System. Who do you ask for money? Of course, a loser asks your family for money. What kind of ghost is asking me for money? LV Xiaobu said, well. That makes sense. Anyway, from memory, my family seems to be quite wealthy, so I'm going to become a spendthrift. System. Considering the host's first encounter with this system, we have specially arranged a beginner task for the host. It is very simple. Before midnight, if you lose 50,000 yuan, you will be rewarded with a lottery opportunity. There is no punishment, and there is no waiting time. It's not a big deal. LV Xiaobu smiled indifferently, isn't it just spending money? That's not a big deal. System. By the way, remind the host that you are coming from a spacetime parallel to Earth called Aqua Blue Star, and many things will be very different. Ojpk, I'm going to be a spendthrift right now. The spendthrift is going on a campaign, and there's nothing left to grow. With someone to accompany her in the shower, Nyo can move on her own. Just thinking about it makes me excited. Ha ha ha. LV Xiaobu chuckled and jumped out of bed. Pop it up. LV Xiaobu felt his body soften and suddenly fell to the ground. He lowered his head to look at his own body and was stunned. Sleeping in bed, why are you so weak? System. Your previous job exhausted your body and you died of exhaustion. It's strange if you can recover. Otherwise, 1 carrot and 1 pit, even if good people have good rewards, you can't be reborn here. LV Xiaobu pinched his bare arm, wanting to cry without tears. How weak is this? Even if it's just picking up girls and letting them move on their own, their bodies won't be able to handle it. System. Strength. 28, Speed. 39, Health. 31, Sexual ability. 25, Note. The index for a normal person is 100. Wait a moment. What are you saying? LV Xiaobu listened to the first few and was fine. He almost went crazy when he heard the last one. He quickly pulled up his pants and looked down, crying and saying, it's not that his body can't handle it anymore. The system, I'm going to commit suicide now. You should send me back, what's going on? System. Don't lose heart, you can buy items with attribute points in the mall, priced at 100,000 yuan. As long as there are enough losers, it's not a problem. Loser. Loser. This is loser. LV Xiaobu heard the system's words and immediately became excited again, standing on the ground and wildly waving his fist. What he didn't notice was that behind a nearby window, a pair of beautiful star-like eyes were staring at him. For a long time, the struggle in those beautiful eyes turned into disappointment and determination. The breakfast table downstairs from the LV family. The leader of the LV family, LV Hongbin, walked over to the dining table and sat down. Dad, the shop on the commercial street signed a contract today. I'll go take a look. Well, LV Fu nodded and said, let Wenhua follow you too. He should also help you. Hey, I'm not going, I still have to study. LV Wenhua, the second son of the LV family, walked over and refused. You graduated 2 years ago, didn't you? LV Hongbin rolled his eyes. The sea of learning is boundless, and today I graduate with a doctoral degree. LV Wenhua shook his father with a boastful expression. LU's father showed a hint of impatience and said, have you graduated again? How many times do you want to graduate? LV Wenhua pursed his lips and said, actually, I haven't read a lot of books. I only have 3 bachelor's degrees and 2 master's degrees. This is my first time graduating with a doctoral degree. I've decided, my next goal is to study music. LV Fu and LV Hongbin were speechless for an instant. Second brother, our new store is about to open. I beg you, come and help me, said LV Hongbin. No, I want to be a singer, a romantic wandering singer, LV Wenhua said with longing. A wandering singer. That's equivalent to a wandering beggar. If you don't help your big brother, what about that little bastard Xiaobu? LV Fu scolded. Xiaobu, hey. LV Wenhua fell silent. Not only him, but also the people at the dining table let out a chorus of sighs. Ah. But when the nanny Wu Ma heard these 3 words from LV Xiaobu, a hint of disdain appeared in her eyes. When it comes to the LV family, it's really like the ancestral tomb emitting smoke. The eldest LV Hongbin is well versed in business and supports all the expenses of the family on his own. The second son, LV Wenhua, has a natural talent and is a famous scholar from all over the country. It is said that he descended to the mortal world as a literary star. However, only that third person is uneducated, unprofessional, useless, and only knows how to spend money to make a living. His monthly expenses can range from tens of thousands to millions. Contrary to the second son of the LV family, the mention of the name LV Xiaobu in these 10 miles and 8 townships is nothing but a flurry of chickens and dogs, cursing him for the reincarnation of a disaster star. And I heard he has already broken down his body, probably dying soon, but that's also good after all. If the LV family didn't have this little disaster star, they probably would have a place on the rich list now. Wu Mama, you don't need to come tomorrow. At this moment, LV Fu suddenly sighed and said, Hong Bin, please settle the bill with Wu Mama later and give more as compensation. Yes, father. Hong Bin didn't show any confusion and nodded. Only LV Wenhua, who had slightly lower emotional intelligence, didn't understand, but with his strong intelligence, he probably guessed it too. Master, why? Where did I go wrong? Wu Mama, who was still slandering LV Xiaobu, was suddenly surprised and quickly asked. This job is easy and profitable, she doesn't want to be fired. New book release, everyone click to collect, take care of it, thank you. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Asking for money, losing the family, picking girls in one step. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Asking for money, losing the family, picking girls in one step. Wu Ma left, and in the end, she didn't understand why. Lu Fu looked at Wu Ma's distant figure and murmured to himself, Wu Ma, don't blame me. I know you look down on Xiaobu, and I don't blame you. But that's my son, and I don't want him to be looked down upon at home. Others think that Xiaobu's body was drained due to his behavior, but as a father, I know that Xiaobu's health has been worse than others since birth. Doctors even said he won't live to be 10 years old, which once made us prepare for future affairs. That's why our whole family treats the little cloth as a treasure, holding it up and offering it, afraid that one day we won't be able to see this little one. Do you know why Xiaobu is called LV Xiaobu? Because as long as he has a healthy body like LV Bu, what about being a black sheep? What about being notorious? We don't care. We have money, we are willing. LV Hongbin walked over and said, all right, Dad, stop talking. Xiaobu broke the spell of being 10 years old. He will definitely be safe. LV Wenhua said, yes, Dad, I will go help Big Brother. And Xiaobu is also coming down soon, don't let him hear me. Speak of the devil. Dad, Big Brother, second brother. LV Xiaobu excitedly ran down the stairs as he thought about how to become a black sheep. Give me money, I'm going to become a black sheep. Puff. Upon hearing LV Xiaobu's straightforward words, all three of them were overjoyed. This stinky kid, not ashamed, but proud. Alright, I'm ready for you. There's 20,000 yuan in this card. Take the flower first, and the password is still 6 zeros. LV Hongbin looked at LV Xiaobu indulgently and took out a bank card. Not enough, not enough. LV Xiaobu quickly shook his head and said, I want 50,000 today. 50,000. Okay, I'll transfer it to you later. Are you going to do something big? Is it a party or a treat? 50,000. Lu Hongbin smiled. Well, let's have a party. LV Xiaobu suddenly smiled and said, well, while we were talking, the plan for the black sheep came. Have fun, remember not to drink too much alcohol, your body can't take it anymore. LV Hongbin tidied up LV Xiaobu's clothes and said with a smile. Thank you, Big Brother. LV Xiaobu felt warm in his heart. In his previous life, he was an orphan and had never experienced the feeling of being a family member. But at this moment, he realized it. Hey, when did the stinky kid be so polite? He used to run away with money, maybe it's just because he didn't have enough money. LV Hongbin rolled his eyes and said, alright, if it's not enough, just give me a call. Go ahead, remember to call Qianmin to accompany you, don't run out alone. Well, I got it. LV Xiaobu ran out in a flash. Qian Min is his neighbor, a budding beauty who has been childhood friends with him. Because his family is not confident that LV Xiaobu will go out alone, and they are not suitable to go with him, they always ask Qian Min to accompany him out. And if he's not named Ximin, his family will definitely not let him go out. If Xiaobu could take Qian Min down, would die in peace. Liu Fu looked at Liu Xiaobu's back with a hint of hope and said. LV Hongbin and LV Wenhua exchanged a glance and sighed, obviously they both thought it was unlikely. Ximin. LV Xiaobu knocked on the door of a villa next door that was equally luxurious as his family. The door was opened, and a pretty woman with a sinister expression stood at the door, pinching her waist and saying, LV Xiaobu, you're going to be a black sheep again, aren't you? TSK, what a blooming hibiscus, even if it looks angry, it's so beautiful. LV Xiaobu exclaimed in admiration. He is not flattering, but to be honest. The woman in front of him has a fair and greasy skin color, with skin shining brighter than snow. She is wearing a white one-piece short skirt, revealing a pair of white jade-like legs. Her long hair is draped over her shoulders, and the white skirt reflects on her. Although her pretty face is full of evil energy, it is even more beautiful and cannot be forced to look at. He suddenly felt that his eyes were dazzling, like a dream, and his heart was beating wildly. When did you have such a sweet mouth, kid? Wu Ximin gave LV Xiaobu a white glance, but still accepted LV Xiaobu's praise with great satisfaction. I accompany you out every Sunday, and I don't have time to watch TV dramas. It's only right for you to praise me. I'll go change my clothes and wait for me. Although she grew up with LV Xiaobu, she had no romantic feelings towards him. Even as he became more and more despicable and outrageous, she began to dislike LV Xiaobu, the despicable son, more and more. So she only went out with LV Xiaobu out of kindness and out of favor. It used to be okay, but as they both grew up, they would always be criticized by others when they were together. What kind of materialistic woman, greedy for vanity, shameless for money, and so on are all daily necessities, and there are even more unpleasant things that she feels embarrassed to talk about. So she decided that today was the last time she would confess to this black sheep tonight. She has already contacted the moving company. Where are you going today? Wu Ximin, who had changed her clothes and put on sunglasses, walked out and pursed her lips. Loser. Go to the loser. LV Xiaobu shouted excitedly twice. Towering tree, I'm here. Alright, it's not embarrassing. Hurry up and leave. Wu Ximin quickly pulled LV Xiaobu, who was almost jumping, out. She had already seen the eyes of those around her filled with contempt, and was probably about to start cursing. And this scene further strengthened her determination to stay away from this shameless yet proud and defeated family. Where are we going to be a loser? LV Xiaobu took out his phone and prepared to look at the map to find places like bars, casinos, and other places where the family was poor result. Liu Xiaobu looked at the button phone in his hand, which looked like an elderly phone, and said, mad, a spendthrift uses this kind of phone. Is it embarrassing to lose it? Wu Ximin rolled her eyes and said, your phone, it's an Angel brand phone worth 8888, is it embarrassing? Is this phone still 8888? LV Xiaobu pursed his lips and threw it into the nearby sewer with his back hand. The spendthrift, I. Wu Ximin almost cursed out loud. She didn't expect to throw away a phone worth 8888 like this. You should know that even a damaged Angel brand phone can sell for over 4,000 yuan. Finally, she stomped her feet and chose not to speak and follow LV Xiaobu. It was the last day anyway, not angry after they left, a person saw a phone in the ditch and their eyes lit up. They quickly went to salvage it and said, isn't that right? An Angel phone worth 8888. It's gone. As soon as the people around heard this, they all ran over to grab it. Mine, mine. This is mine. I saw it first. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Money is hard to buy, Grandpa is happy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Money is hard to buy, Grandpa is happy. LV Xiaobu decided to buy a mobile phone first. Along the way, Wu Ximin has been sulking and ignoring LV Xiaobu. However, LV Xiaobu muttered discontentedly all the way, "My ex, what kind of spendthrift is he? Even if his phone is an old phone, he doesn't have any cheats, and he doesn't even have a driver or a car. How can he get by? Shame. I'll tell you ya, if you have a spirit in heaven, you'll look good. I'll teach you what it's like to be a real spendthrift." The two walked together towards the commercial street. As soon as the two of them entered the commercial street, the entire street suddenly exploded. Young Master Xiaobu is here. Welcome everyone. Suddenly, all the shop owners, like starving wolves seeing fresh meat, were staring at the door with green light and shouting eagerly. Young Master Xiaobu, I have top-quality diamond necklaces here. Would you like to play with 10 of them? Young Master Xiaobu, I have fresh honey oranges here. Can you take 2 carts and taste the salty ones? Let's go aside. Wu Ximin's face darkened and she scolded. These bastards, every time they see LV Xiaobu, they look like Fa Chun. If it weren't for her constantly watching, LV Xiaobu would have been tricked long ago. Oh, come on, this ant is here again. Let's all scatter. When those merchants heard Wu Ximin's voice, they all felt a little disheartened and left one after another. Hee, it's interesting. LV Xiaobu touched his chin, raised an eyebrow, and was somewhat interested. Did these people treat the black sheep as fools? A true spendthrift is someone who is wealthy but difficult to buy, rather than being forced to consume. The two walked into the mobile phone store. Hey, isn't this young Master Xiaobu? Come on, sit down, I'll go serve you tea. As soon as the mobile phone shop owner saw LV Xiaobu come in, he thought to himself like the empress who had been flipped over by the emperor. He was so excited that he almost jumped up, showing all kinds of hospitality, waiting for his luck. He knew that young Master Xiaobu must have to change his phone again. I don't need to say much about what I want to do, LV Xiaobu snapped his fingers. Of course, here you are, young Master Xiaobu. The mobile phone shop owner quickly walked over holding a phone. Are you teasing me? Give me these junk goods. LV Xiaobu's face turned a bit unpleasant when he saw the phone. This mobile phone is strikingly identical to the one that LV Xiaobu threw into the sewer. The mobile phone shop owner was taken aback and said, Young Master Xiaobu, this is the most advanced phone in the world. It has a touch screen with buttons, can be used for both 1 and 2 purposes, is waterproof and anti-theft, and is noble and dazzling. LV Xiaobu frowned and glanced at the counter of the mobile phone store. Those saleswomen saw LV Xiaobu's gaze and quickly made various noises, hoping to climb onto the branch and become phoenixes. LV Xiaobu is not in the mood to flirt with girls. Just the little bean pudding under his crotch is not embarrassing enough. After scanning for a week, he finally realized. I went there, but actually didn't have a big screen phone. Mad, I'm not happy. LV Xiaobu gritted his teeth and took out his bank card. Boss, I'll take my phone. Okay, the boss immediately smiled and made another big income. Then, LV Xiaobu squatted on the ground, picked up the phone worth 88.88, and repeatedly smashed it onto the ground. Mad, broken phone, unhappy, broken phone. He finally understood, and this is probably what the system says is different from the earth. Wu Ximin slapped her forehead and said speechless, it's only been a few minutes now. This spendthrift has already lost 2 phones worth 88.88, and I've lost 20,000 yuan. She found that LV Xiaobu's level of being a spendthrift had risen again, unlike before. The owner of the mobile phone store, however, smiled and muttered softly, "Hee hee, does that mean we can sell another one? I posted it today." And those salespeople, on the other hand, are half contemptuous and half envious. What a loser. How great it is to give it to me. Yeah, you're a spendthrift. You don't want it. There are so many people you want. I feel so sorry. Ha, I'm angry. LV Xiaobu threw the rotten phone aside in the trash can and stood up. Anyway, looking at the system display, the amount of the loser has increased to 8,888, which can provide some comfort to him. And at this point, a guy wearing a messy outfit, tightly holding a broken wooden box in his arms, ran in and said, "Boss, I." As soon as the mobile phone store owner saw this person, he immediately frowned and looked up. "Go ahead, Li Shida. I'll tell you, young Master Xiaobu is here today, and I don't have time to play around with you. Hurry up and get out of here." Li Shida turned his head to look at LV Xiaobu, as if he had seen a demon and was about to run. "Wait a moment, what are you running for?" LV Xiaobu frowned and said, "Come back. Young Master Xiaobu, spare your life." Li Shida heard LV Xiaobu's words with a crying tone in his voice, but he didn't dare to walk back obediently. "Xiaobu, don't bother you, I'll do it." The mobile phone store owner immediately picked up the broom and walked over. "Li Shida, if you dare to offend Xiaobu, let's see." "Wait a moment, when did I let you fight?" LV Xiaobu frowned. "No, Master Xiaobu, it was just you last time." The mobile phone store owner made a gesture of hitting someone with a broom. "You said you saw him hitting him once at a time." "Oh, I remember now," LV Xiaobu rolled his eyes and said, "No need to think, it was another trick from his predecessor." He shook his head and said, "Li Shida, right. Tell me exactly why I hit you. If it's my fault, I'll apologize to you." LV Xiaobu was kind-hearted, but when Li Shida heard this, he was almost scared and said, "Young Master Xiaobu, I beg you, please spare me. I dare not appear in front of you again in the future." "You are right, it's all my fault." Li Shida now only has one thought in his mind. LV Xiaobu, this black sheep, must be looking for reasons to hit me. LV Xiaobu, you haven't finished everything yet, and they haven't done anything. Why do you insist on hitting them? Wu Shimin originally didn't want to take care of it, but she couldn't help but say, "You hit someone for no reason last time, and now you're back. Do you think I'm going to hit him?" LV Xiaobu was a bit unhappy, treating kindness like donkey liver and lung. "Nonsense, don't I know your virtue yet?" Wu Shimin said angrily. "What do you think too?" LV Xiaobu turned his head and looked at the mobile phone store owner holding a broom ready to share his worries at any time. Hee hee. The mobile phone store owner smiled and didn't say anything, but the meaning was very clear. "Okay, since you all think so, let's do it this way," LV Xiaobu snorted coldly. You didn't even look for a reason, did you? I misread you." Wu Shimin became even angrier. The mobile phone shop owner also raised his broom. Li Shida closed his eyes and almost knelt down, tears streaming down the corners of his eyes. Salesperson A, "Oh, sorry." Salesperson B, "The black sheep are really despicable." But LV Xiaobu's next sentence stunned everyone, and the owner of the mobile phone store almost doubled. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Money and Willfulness, First Change. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Money and Willfulness, First Change. LV Xiaobu looked at Li Shida, who was about to cry in fear, and said, "Since Qianmin said I was wrong, it should be me. I apologize to you first. I'm sorry, you can calculate the medical expenses and compensation, and I will compensate you." This sentence startled the whole room. "Xiaobu, you. Wu Qianmin's heart was mixed with various flavors, and for a moment she didn't know how to express herself. This sentence gave her heart, which was extremely disappointed with LV Xiaobu, a glimmer of vitality. Oh my, the mobile phone store owner almost dodged his waist. Li Shida was foolish, his chin was almost falling off. Sleeping trough, what the hell? This big spendthrift apologizes to me and wants to compensate me. Before he could be happy, he heard LV Xiaobu say again, but you must immediately explain the reasons and consequences to me, otherwise this money will be directly used as your funeral expenses. The whole hall was shocked. Just now, it was just hitting someone. How could it turn into murder now? Young Master Xiaobu. Li Shida was a bit puzzled, but more afraid. Speak up. LV Xiaobu said fiercely. I said, Li Shida quickly stood up straight and said, actually, I am an inventor. Mobile phone store owner. Hee, a loser without a wife. Li Shida's blush. At that time, I wanted to ask Little Master Bu for sponsorship. Mobile phone store owner. I clearly don't have money to eat, I'm hungry. Li Shida. Perhaps I said something wrong. Mobile phone store owner. It's because you're too smelly and dirty. Li Shida. I was beaten in the end. Mobile phone store owner. There's nothing wrong with this. It's understandable. LV Xiaobu nodded, understanding his predecessor's approach. After all, such a messy guy can easily engage in some extreme behavior by hugging his thighs when he comes up. LV Xiaobu said, Li Shida, as you keep running towards the mobile phone store, your invention should be a mobile phone. The mobile phone shop owner immediately took over and said, Young Master Xiaobu is wise, it's just a mobile phone. This guy doesn't work hard every day and doesn't do a good job of repairing phones. He actually starts making some useless new era phones, and ends up producing a piece of junk. It's not junk. Li Shida, who had been harmed by the mobile phone store owner just now and dared not refute, suddenly raised his neck and shouted at him. It's just tattered, not waterproof, not sturdy, and even a slight bump will ruin it. Who would buy such a phone? Said the phone store owner disdainfully. It's not junk. Li Shida's voice grew louder. Mobile phone store owner. Just. Li Shida's face turned red and he said, no. Yes. It's broken. It's rotten. The mobile phone store owner was a bit stunned and rolled his eyes, saying, okay, it's not junk. Hee. Li Shida seemed like a child who had been recognized by adults, and his temper suddenly subsided. It was truly a childlike nature. The mobile phone store owner is speechless. Interesting. LV Xiaobu looked at this scene with a slight smile on his lips. These two people are so funny, it's like cross-talk. If they make a combination, they will definitely become popular. He smiled and said, Li Shida, show me your invention. Li Shida looked at the box in his hand and then at the Angel 8888 phone that had just been smashed by LV Xiaobu in the trash can. Suddenly, he trembled and hugged the wooden box tightly. No. Mad, I realized I can't talk to you properly, can I? LV Xiaobu was angry and pointed to the phone store owner. Go, grab that box for me, don't damage it. The mobile phone shop owner looked at Li Shida, who was protecting the calf, and hesitated. Young Master Xiaobu, this. LV Xiaobu is too lazy to argue. If you are not willing, there are always willing people. He waved his hand at the onlookers at the entrance and said, whoever can snatch the box without damaging it, I'll reward him 5,000 yuan. Remember not to hit anyone. With these words, the entire space suddenly heard heavy breathing sounds. Li Shida felt like he was being targeted by a pack of wolves. Young master, let me go. The mobile phone store owner, who was close to the water and had the moon first, blushed at the money and quickly rushed towards Li Shida. Boss, you're not particular. The onlookers were immediately surprised and rushed towards Li Shida. What else can I say? Wu Shimin has collapsed. This spendthrift has lost another 5,000. Do you really think his family's money was brought in by the strong wind? However, what comforted her to some extent was the sentence that the spendthrift specifically said. Don't hit anyone. Ping pong bang bang. The winner has appeared. Young master, the box you want. A burly guy walked over with a box, looking forward. Not bad. LV Xiaobu nodded satisfied and reached out to open the box, but his face was immediately filled with joy. Oh my god, that's great. This is the phone I want. How much does Li Shida cost? I bought it. Following LV Xiaobu's gaze, it was clearly a touchscreen phone. Li Shida was squatting in the corner, drawing circles to curse the spendthrift LV Xiaobu. Upon hearing these words, he was stunned for a moment, his mouth wide open, and he looked at the delighted LV Xiaobu in disbelief. He was stunned, but there was one person who didn't, and that was the owner of a mobile phone store. The mobile phone store owner was anxious and said, Young Master Xiaobu, how can this kind of junk match you? He calculated very clearly, if LV Xiaobu, the black sheep, bought this, who would he sell his Angel 8888 phone to? And this junk opened Li Shida's switch. You're the scumbag. Li Shida roared. Cut, let me ask you, do you have any special functions with this useless thing? The mobile phone store owner sneered, as it involved interests, he wouldn't let this guy go. Not really. Li Shida gritted his teeth, although unwilling, but unable to refute. Does it have an Angel brand phone that is waterproof? No. Does it have an Angel brand phone that can withstand drops? No. It has. No. A series of questions came down. Mobile phone store owners are becoming increasingly arrogant. Li Shida became increasingly disappointed. The onlookers also shook their heads and said, Nothing, what kind of invention is it? It's just a piece of junk. Is it beautiful with angel cards? The mobile phone store owner asked again, and he felt that the victory was in his hands. Today, he could definitely sell another Angel 8888 phone to this loser, and make a profit. Yes. This time, it was LV Xiaobu who was speaking. He looked at the phone store owner and said, What are you asking for? I think it looks good, so I want to buy it. With more money, can we burn it? There's so much nonsense. He looked at Li Shida and said, Please quote. Xiaobu, if you really like it, I'll give it to you. It's beyond my ability. Li Shida had already been devastated. He no longer wants any sponsorship, he just wants to give his only work to the person he truly likes, and it can be considered that he did not waste his efforts. Stop talking nonsense, what I'm saying is, your price is not the price of this phone. LV Xiaobu rolled his eyes and said, Tell me, how much can you give me a job? He just looked at it, and although this phone has the prototype of a smartphone, it only has its surface, not its interior. Many things still need to be improved, and it cannot be maintained and upgraded without a professional person. Me. Li Shida was stunned again. Ink stains are dead, 10,000 yuan per month. The tip is extra. Can you help me maintain and upgrade my phone? Why not? LV Xiaobu said directly. Go, go, go. Thank you, young Master Xiaobu. My life, Li Shida, will be yours from today on. Li Shida quickly nodded, ecstatic. This kind of good thing will disappear from the village. What excites him the most is not the 10,000 yuan, although it also excites him a lot. What excites him the most is that young Master Xiaobu really appreciates his painstaking work. A scholar dies for his confidant. For his childlike nature, his words just now were not a sign of loyalty, but a pledge. Everyone was stunned. I'll go, can this damn thing be worth 10,000 yuan a month? The black sheep, really the black sheep. I don't think it's a spendthrift, but a fool. What's the difference between spending 10,000 and buying a beggar? LV Xiaobu, you. Wu Ximin wanted to say something, but in front of Li Shida, she couldn't say anything. She could only stomp her feet angrily and curse inwardly, "You're a spendthrift." Another 10,000, it's still persistent. LV Xiaobu shrugged his shoulders, too lazy to argue. He likes to use this type of smartphone and only spends 10,000 yuan, it's just a small joke. Rich and capricious. Besides, it's not necessarily who's stupid. Smartphones cannot compete with Keela's smartphones. He da. By an inventor who is at the forefront of the times for 10,000 yuan. If you make a big profit, he probably will wake up happily tonight. The owner of the mobile phone store had a grim expression on his face. It's over, the phone can't be sold anymore. Now it's over, this loser's salary is even higher than mine, so disappointed. Don't be discouraged. Today, you will introduce the merit and reward, which is 5,000 yuan. LV Xiaobu was wealthy and generous, and with a wave of his hand, he received another 5,000 yuan. Thank you, young Master Xiaobu. Greet him. The mobile phone store owner immediately turned cloudy and almost knelt down to pay his respects. Young Master Xiaobu, look. At this moment, an embarrassed voice came over. Oh, by the way, there are still 5,000 to lose. LV Xiaobu patted his forehead and suddenly realized. Everyone fell. You also know it's a loser. I hope everyone can support me a lot, collect some, and recommend voting. This small tree really needs everyone's care. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Defeating Hiya, Second Watch. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Defeating Hiya, Second Watch, Young Master Xiaobu, then I. The person who was speaking was the one who helped LV Xiaobu grab the box just now. At this moment, his face was burning red and he was obviously not used to reaching out for money. LV Xiaobu looked at the person and nodded in satisfaction. It was a good material for a dog's leg. He just saw that this guy has extraordinary skills. Facing those competitors, he almost threw them back one by one and easily picked up the box, saying, "What's his name?" Zhang Meng. Look at your physique, have you served in the army before? Yes. Are you interested in working with me? Be a bodyguard. No, be a lackey. Zhang Meng hesitated. Likely Shida, it's 10,000 yuan per month, with tips included. Zhang Meng. See you, young master. Don't call me young master, call me young master. Okay, young master. No problem, young master. Wu Ximin patted her forehead and was completely speechless. This spendthrift. What is this all about? Even if Li Shida is considered an employee, it may not be reliable. Now it's all right, recruit the henchmen directly. And they just snatched a box for you, giving them 10,000 yuan per month. How about giving you a physical Li Shida? Okay, I'm happy today. There's still over 30,000 left in the card, with a password of 6 zeros. It's a prediction that I'll give you 1 month's salary, and I'll give you the extra as a tip. Go ahead, give you a half day off, change your clothes. Report tonight. LV Xiaobu happily threw the bank card in his hand to Zhang Meng. You're going to die. Wu Ximin jumped up at once. Just buy a mobile phone and smash it to play, and even hire someone for 10,000 yuan. Did you actually give all your bank cards to someone else now? It looks like there's still over 30,000 left inside. Is there anyone who tips like this? Zhang Meng held his bank card and didn't say a word for a while before suddenly turning around and leaving. Don't leave. Wu Ximin is in a hurry. Although I have decided to move immediately, I cannot watch this spendthrift be tricked like this. Li Shida hasn't given any money yet, it's hard to say how much, but it's different. But at this moment, there is no trace of Zhang Meng on the street. The people around also began to mutter. Hey, LV Xiaobu, this black sheep, has been tricked. Yeah, they left a name that they don't know is real or fake, and their ID card is also unknown. They must be a scammer. If I had known it was so simple, I would have gone to deceive. It's interesting today. The black sheep took in one beggar and one scammer. Wu Shimin couldn't catch up with Zhang Meng returned to LV Xiaobu's side, angrily saying, LV Xiaobu, are you stupid? 30,000 yuan. You just gave it to someone who doesn't know the details. You must be crazy. You haven't been such a spendthrift before. It's okay, it's just 30,000 yuan. It's a small joke. Even if you're scammed, just treat it as a lesson. Money is capricious. However, LV Xiaobu was very happy. In his previous life, he survived under the protection of a military wall, and later he received a lot of help from military personnel. In my previous life, I couldn't repay you, but in this life, I will repay you. He doesn't think Zhang Meng is a fraud. Even if you are deceived, what's wrong? Money is hard to buy, but I'm happy. After all, the beginner's task has been completed and you can start a lottery. Wow. Great. System, lottery, said LV Xiaobu excitedly. System. Yes. A big wheel immediately appeared in front of LV Xiaobu, which was evenly divided into 8 parts. Eating, drinking, playing, having fun, clothing, living, transportation, and special. I understand everything in the front, what does special mean? Asked LV Xiaobu. The ones that are difficult to classify are all special, the system's response was simple and crude. I'm too lazy to do it, we'll talk about it later. It's truly my system, with my style. LV Xiaobu strongly agreed, can you just tell me the lottery results? I'm too lazy to draw. The system said speechlessly, I admire it, you're still lazy. LV Xiaobu. Each other. System. Alright, you have access to mobile CPU manufacturing technology. The technology can be given to others and can be retrieved at any time, so there is no need to worry about leakage. LV Xiaobu was very happy and said, hey, that's good. What do you want? Did you secretly cheat for me? With core technology, smartphones can be completely formed now, after all, other technologies in this world are quite mature. System. Don't come to me for anything in the future, I'm too lazy to talk. LV Xiaobu. What about the task? System. I'm too lazy to post it, unless it's like today's beginner task, when necessary, I have to post it. Usually, you can just treat me as a soy sauce maker. LV Xiaobu said, I just like you. No wonder you are in my system. We really have similar tastes. System. After venting the system, LV Xiaobu chuckled and said, Li Shida, let's go back home. If we didn't have the money, we would be a loser. I knew I would have taken off my card when I threw away my phone, and I still had to make a trip. He just casually looked at the prices of attribute points in the mall, which is 100,000 yuan per point. The first goal is to find a way to fill up the attribute points first. He calculated that if he had full attributes, it would be 24.7 million, rounded up to 25 million. Forget it, round it up to 30 million. How about this, 50 million? Defeat him. Yes, young master. Li Shida nodded immediately. Upon hearing LV Xiaobu speak, Wu Shimin became a bit crazy. 50,000 yuan, that's 50,000 yuan. It's already enough for an ordinary family to live for a year, and it's just a small loss. The most crucial thing is that I don't even know where the money has been spent. Please calculate. I bought a phone, 88888, it smashed. Snatched a box and gave it to someone for 5,000. The mobile phone store owner didn't do anything, 5,000 yuan. Finally, even more ruthlessly, just give a scammer money, over 30,000 yuan. This doesn't even include those petty expenses of 20,000 yuan per month. What's this called? Is this money capricious? It was burned with money. A spendthrift, a true spendthrift. Fortunately, I won't be able to see this spendthrift tomorrow. Farewell to young Master Xiaobu. With the compliments of the mobile phone store owner and all the salespeople, LV Xiaobu left the store. The group has just left. Ha! Isn't that big brother, second brother? LV Xiaobu looked at the two people not far away and suddenly laughed. It's okay now. You don't need to go home to get the money, go ask for it. Big brother, second brother. LV Xiaobu bounced up to LV Hongbin and LV Wenhua. Xiaobu. Why are you here? Didn't you go to a party? Come on, come on, come on, come on. LV Hongbin doted on him and led LV Xiaobu into the store. This is a store he just signed with. It used to be a restaurant, and the original owner is still there. Entering the store, LV Xiaobu excitedly took out a piece of paper and threw it to Lishida, saying, "Take a look at this thing." Then he ran to the beverage cabinet and said, "Cola, cola, do you have cola?" This is. Lishida's hand trembled as he held the paper, with a mixture of ecstasy and fear on his face. How could it be? LV Wenhua, the second top student of the LV family, accidentally saw this piece of paper and was also startled. It's over, the young saplings are going to die of thirst. Aren't you giving them some collection and recommendation tickets to take care of them? Manual comedy. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Billions, seeking collections, seeking tickets. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Billions, seeking collections, seeking tickets. LV Xiaobu happily held a cup of freshly squeezed apple juice and handed Wu Qianmin a cup, saying, "Here, the taste is pretty good." Wu Ximin looked at the juice in her hand and then at the empty beverage cabinet, feeling a bit overwhelmed. LV Xiaobu. You opened all the drinks in the cabinet and took a sip, still on the ground. The drinks added up to over 300 yuan, but in the end, you ended up with a freshly squeezed apple juice for 10 yuan. What are you looking for? Nothing else tastes good. LV Xiaobu smiled heartlessly. He was originally looking for a cola, but found none. In the end, he tried everything, but it turned out to be better than freshly squeezed apple juice. Wu Ximin clenched her small fist. If she weren't worried about damaging LV Xiaobu, she really wanted to give this black sheep a punch. She was holding the glass of apple juice worth over 300, feeling a bit tearless. I'd rather drink it slowly, it's too expensive. At this moment, LV Wenhua rushed over and looked at LV Xiaobu excitedly. "Xiaobu, to be honest with me, where did that piece of paper come from?" "I picked it up," LV Xiaobu said nonchalantly. "Pick up. Pick up. Pick up. Pick up." LV Wenhua stuttered. "Second brother, what's wrong?" LV Hongbin was somewhat puzzled. "Big brother, come here." LV Wenhua, like a thief, pulled LV Hongbin aside and took a deep breath before pointing to Lishida and saying, "Do you know what the paper in his hand is?" "What?" LV Hongbin frowned as he looked at Lishida. Although he didn't judge people by their appearance, Lishida's messy appearance really didn't make people like him. The manufacturing technology of mobile phone CPUs is very high. LV Wenhua said word by word. This technology has always been monopolized by foreign countries. "Oh, what's there?" LV Hongbin didn't go to school much and didn't understand. "Let me put it another way," LV Wenhua continued, "that piece of paper is worth billions. Just a little more." "What?" LV Hongbin jumped up immediately, his eyes turning red. "Don't shout, don't shout." LV Wenhua quickly covered LV Hongbin's mouth. Who? LV Hongbin gasped for breath for a while before stabilizing his emotions. He absolutely believed LV Wenhua's words and stared at LV Wenhua. Second brother, big brother is a rough person. I don't understand. What do you think we should do? Why don't I go and get along with this person? Let's have some soup. Drink soup. What soup should I drink? LV Wenhua looked around and whispered, Big brother, I just saw it. This thing belongs to Xiaobu, he gave it to this person. Woo. LV Hongbin didn't need LV Wenhua's hands this time. He covered his mouth and said, Woo. It's absolutely true, I asked Xiaobu, LV Wenhua nodded. They were brothers, so they naturally understood the meaning. Woo. He said it was picked up, LV Wenhua chuckled bitterly. Woo. I also think it's impossible. Woo. Anyway, I think we should first negotiate with that person and not disclose it. No matter what the cost is, we will do whatever it takes. Okay, that's it. LV Hongbin immediately let go of his hand, made a quick decision, and then said with some resentment, Little Boo, this little bastard, I don't know how to be careful. Can this thing be shown to people casually? LV Wenhua suppressed his excitement and went aside. Talking about business is not something he can do, and he still needs his elder brother to take action. LV Hongbin rubbed his face and regained calmness, as if he didn't know anything. He walked in and came to Li Shida's side, saying, Sir, do you know Xiaobu? Oh, young Master Xiaobu has accepted me. I am now an employee of young Master Xiaobu, Li Shida said casually, lost in the ocean of knowledge. Sure. LV Hongbin suddenly felt happy and thought to himself, it's easy now. So he quickly said, well, what about Xiaobu? You know some things, so let's sign a confidentiality agreement. Okay, that's right. Li Shida nodded and then took out his ID card. This is my ID card. Okay, it's refreshing. LV Hongbin immediately picked up his ID card and went to draft the contract. It was a long dream at night, so he quickly finalized it. LV Hongbin exerted unprecedented speed and quickly drafted the contract, nervously handing it to Li Shida. Mr. Li, take a look. Because this thing is very valuable, I have set a penalty of 1 billion yuan for breach of contract and a confidentiality period of 20 years. If you think it's too much, we can make appropriate modifications. Li Shida. Let's make some changes. How to make changes? LV Hongbin said hesitantly. Although he said it could be modified, if there were too few, he felt it was not very safe. Add 2 zeros to the penalty for breach of contract, and also add 0 to the confidentiality period. Li Shida smiled and said, this way everyone can rest assured. LV Hongbin was stunned and prepared a lot of words, but none of them were useful. He suddenly asked, don't you know the value of what you have in your hand? As soon as he finished speaking, he regretted it. What a mouthful, just sign before we talk. I know. Li Shida nodded and said, I am someone who studies mobile phones. Of course I know, but I have already sworn to give my life to young Master Xiaobu. What is the difference between 1 billion and 100 billion? What is the difference between 20 and 200 years? If you can rest assured and give young Master Xiaobu less trouble, I would be happy. He has a childlike nature, and even 9 cows cannot be pulled back when he has determined something. Okay. LV Hongbin really didn't know what to say. Xiaobu is really amazing. How could he make someone face such a valuable thing and be so devoted? Redesign the agreement, sign it, and print it by hand. The process is incredibly fast. The compensation for this confidentiality agreement, which amounts to billions and has a confidentiality period of 200 years, took less than a minute to draft the agreement. If this were to be said, it would probably scare people's teeth. Who? After the agreement was signed, LV Hongbin felt relieved and smiled. Mr. Li, how much salary do you want? He has already figured it out, even if the other party asks too much, he will still give it. Young Master Xiaobu said, 10,000 a month, the tip will be calculated separately. Li Shida felt a bit embarrassed when he heard about the salary. I know it's a bit excessive, but it's okay to ask for a small amount. LV Hongbin slapped his forehead and said, alright, Mr. Li, you can talk to Xiaobu about this. He was defeated and found that the skills he had learned through trial and error in the mall were completely useless. Oh my goodness, can you imagine it? A person who possesses high-end technology only costs 10,000 yuan per month. Forget it, I won't say anything. Xiaobu, you. Awesome. He needs to discuss with his second brother now how to monetize this technology. Of course, the prerequisite is to first ask Xiaobu. LV Xiaobu replied, whatever, you can do whatever you want. However, I can only own the phones of Tu Haojin and cannot sell them to others. LV Hongbin and LV Wenhua. Little loser, a thing worth billions of dollars is not as good as a wealthy gold-colored phone in your eyes. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Famous flowers have owners, seeking collection and recommendation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Famous flowers have owners, seeking collection and recommendation. LV Wenhua, the academic genius, and Li Shida, the technology emperor, suddenly found a common language due to this technology and hid on the side to discuss happily. Big brother, I've spent all the money, give me some more money. LV Xiaobu finished drinking the juice and smiled as he reached out for the money. Okay, here, I'll transfer it to the card for you. LV Hongbin was very happy. This little spendthrift just made a big profit for the family. This little money is just a drop in the bucket. No, give my card to someone else. Give me a new card. LV Xiaobu shook his head. Okay, there's 100,000 here, take it. The password is the same, let's talk about it if it's not enough. Lu Hongbin smiled. Brother LV, don't give it to him, Wu Shimin suddenly jumped out. You don't know, this spendthrift is going too far. After only a short while, he lost 50,000 yuan and even took 2 people. He has to give him 10,000 yuan a month. If you give him another one, maybe the money will be gone tonight. She thought that after she finished speaking, she could make brother LV more vigilant and not give so much. Result. Lose the family. Defeated well. Very well. LV Hongbin smiled. Wu Shimin was stunned. Brother LV must have been angry and foolish, right? And at this point. It's done. LV Wenhua suddenly jumped up. That's right. That's right. That's it. Li Shida also jumped up. 2 people are hugging each other like children, bouncing and jumping. Second brother, what's wrong? LV Xiaobu quickly ran over and said, have you found true love between each other? Get lost. LV Wenhua's face turned green. Did you say that about your second brother? Hee. LV Xiaobu smiled. But at this moment, LV Hongbin drove everyone except for a few of them out and closed the door. Now, there's only one person left in the store. Second brother, let's talk about it. LV Hongbin looked at LV Wenhua eagerly. Big brother, it has to be said that Xiaobu, the spendthrift, is really impressive. First of all, this thing is extremely detailed, and Mr. Li, who brought it back, is also a technical talent. The 2 of us have already understood this thing. LV Wenhua pushed his glasses, reflecting a light that belonged exclusively to the top student. Don't say that, second young master is really talented. Without second young master, I wouldn't have understood. Li Shida quickly declined. Don't say that, no matter how well you read a book, it's useless if it can't be translated into practical things, said LV Wenhua. Clearly. You're just. Looking at the two people praising each other, LV Hongbin rolled his eyes. You two should be more practical. Wu Shimin, however, had a different feeling. Although she had previously said that Liu Xiaobu's acceptance of Li Shida was completely a despicable act, now Li Shida has become someone even admired by the top student LV Urge. Her pretty face has a fiery feeling. LV Xiaobu looked at the two people boasting about business and waved his hand. Both of them have made contributions. Reward, 5,000 yuan per person. This move immediately ended the two people's praise. Thank you, young Master Xiaobu. Li Shida was extremely happy. But LV Wenhua's face turned green again, and he pressed LV Xiaobu's head and rubbed it for a while. You reward your second brother. Your little bunny is going to rebel. Cough cough cough, accident, accident. LV Xiaobu couldn't help but laugh mischievously. Who made your business talk to each other? If you don't want it, just give it to Li Shida. No, that's so ugly. Although you are his boss, we are peers. It's not appropriate for me to give money. LV Wenhua shook his head. Anyway, when can Li Shida make a mobile phone? Asked LV Xiaobu. Today, said Li Shida. Sure. Not bad, I'll give you another 5,000. LV Xiaobu laughed heartily. Thank you, young Master Xiaobu. Li Shida was excited. No wonder young Master Xiaobu said that tipping is extra. After only a long time, he has already earned more than his salary. Actually, it happens that I have everything there. In that case, just modify someone else's CPU and then assemble other accessories. What are you waiting for? Let's go, LV Xiaobu immediately said. With his smartphone, I'm here, wow, click. Yes, young Master Xiaobu. Li Shida rubbed his hands and felt a little excited. It was a great honor to be able to personally create a new era mobile phone. The eldest and second members of the LV family looked at each other excitedly, and they also wanted to take a look. Only Wu Shimin had some doubts. How did it feel like the whole family was helping LV Xiaobu become a spendthrift? Don't even want the store. In a blink of an eye, 10 hours have passed and the time has arrived at 9 p.m. With the joint efforts of LV Wenhua, a top student, and Li Shida, a technology emperor under the cost of dismantling over 50 mobile phones and searching for suitable phone accessories at the strong request of LV Xiaobu and under the guidance of the Black Sheep, a new era smartphone that meets the aesthetic standards of the Earth's people, the Tycoon gene, has finally been born. So beautiful. Li Shida was inexplicably excited. This is the real phone, right? Yeah, it's so beautiful. LV Wenhua was incredibly proud. Who would dare say I'm a bookworm? It's so beautiful. LV Hongbin's eyes sparkled with gold. Hair. What a loser. Wu Shimin looked at the dazzling wealthy gold and a dismantled phone on the ground, feeling a little heartbroken, but these couldn't conceal her love for the new phone in her eyes. Really, so beautiful. Wow, my phone is out of the oven. LV Xiaobu picked up the phone and laughed heartily. Seeing that their phone had been taken away by LV Xiaobu, this group of guys suddenly felt a sense of disappointment. The famous flower had taken over. Wu Shimin's feeling was even stronger, she felt more disappointed than being stolen from her favorite bag. Second brother, what functions are there in this? LV Xiaobu asked excitedly, do you have any money game? No, LV Wenhua shook his head. Is there a live broadcast? No. Have you dealt cards online? Although I don't understand, I don't. Is there? No. Unhappy. LV Xiaobu pursed his lips and casually threw his phone to Wu Shimin. Here it is, there's nothing, no need. Really? Wu Shimin was overjoyed. Oh. LV Wenhua and LV Hongbin suddenly let out a meaningful voice. They don't think that LV Xiaobu, who can offer so many opinions, wouldn't know that this newly released phone doesn't have so many features. So you're looking for girls? Wu Ximin bit her red lips and looked at the beautiful phone in her hand. She wanted to refuse, but couldn't say it. In the end, she could only stomp her foot and say, I hate it. A few people left Li Shida's dilapidated home and walked towards the newly opened store of the LV family. Wu Ximin remained silent all the way. She really didn't know how to say it. Although she appeared very angry, there was always a sweet feeling surging in her heart. So she didn't notice the situation afterwards. Xiao Bu, that's great. LV Hongbin whispered, I'll give you another 200,000 yuan on the card later. Let's have fun with Qianmin. LV Wenhua. Yes, yes, yes. If you can win Qianmin, all the scholarships from second brother will be given to you as a spendthrift. Cough cough. LV Xiaobu coughed and said, what are you talking about? Is it true that I am that kind of person? Then the conversation changed. Second brother, how much scholarship do you have? Hiss. LV Wenhua pretended and said, it's just over 1 million, not much. Don't worry, second brother, I promise to complete the task. LV Xiaobu's eyes turned red and he immediately issued a military order. 1 million. With 10 attribute points, even Little Bean Ding can grow into saplings. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. The Unprivileged Recipe, for Collection and Recommendation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. The Unprivileged Recipe, for Collection and Recommendation. Returning to the newly opened store, there was someone waiting at the door. Boss, where have you been? A person with a red face and thick neck, dressed in a kitchen uniform, walked in and said to LV Hongbin. Well, Su-yi, here we are. I have some business to attend to when I go out. However, from now on, you will be the head chef and owner of this store. You will take care of everything inside the store. If you earn us 5 points, you can compensate me. Lu Hongbin smiled. Boss. Su-yi was extremely excited. Alright, you've been with me for so many years, following me from the first store, that's what you deserve. LV Hongbin patted Su-yi's shoulder. So our family runs a restaurant, LV Xiaobu scratched his head and asked. LV Hongbin said silently, you little spendthrift, you don't even know what business our family does. LV Xiaobu said, hee, I'm a spendthrift, I only know how to be a spendthrift. Everyone was speechless. Is this considered self-awareness? Alright, today is a happy day. Su-yi, make 2 specialty dishes for this little spendthrift at home, let's have some together. LV Hongbin rubbed LV Xiaobu's head and said. After a moment, the table was filled with a dense array of 12 dishes, all of which were Su-yi's specialties, and Su-yi was still serving them up. Alright, Su-yi, I can't eat so much. LV Hongbin laughed. It's okay, today is mine. Su-yi was sweating profusely in the kitchen, but still happily cooked. Qianmin, don't be polite. We're all a family, Lu Hongbin greeted. Thank you, brother LV. Wu Ximin blushed a bit. Of course, she knew what the LV family meant, but she could only apologize. Although today's LV Xiaobu did make her a little better, she still didn't want to pin her happiness on this little spendthrift. If it really doesn't work, just return the phone to LV Xiaobu. Although reluctant, she's not a girl who worships money. LV Hongbin sighed lightly and understood, but didn't say anything. He has received the news that Qianmin's family is moving, and although he really wants to stay, he really can't say it. Xiaobu, come on. Xiaobu, eat it. LV Hongbin looked at LV Xiaobu, who was not in high spirits, and asked with some concern, is it not to his taste? Well, it's all fish and meat, I don't want to eat it. LV Xiaobu pouted, this dish is not a waste at all. Young Master Xiaobu, what do you want to eat? Say it, I'll make it. Su Yigong heard this and immediately asked. He knew that even though he had served LV Hongbin well, he was far from serving this little ancestor well, which made his boss LV Hongbin even happier. Boiled cabbage, said LV Xiaobu. Boiled cabbage. Boiled or steamed? Su Yi looked bewildered. Isn't this a spendthrift? Why are you so frugal? Xiaobu, you. LV Hongbin was also in a confused state. Did you eat your stomach bad? Only Wu Shimin patted her head and felt that the dish of boiled cabbage mentioned by LV Xiaobu was definitely not that simple. Through a series of events today, she discovered that this spendthrift is no longer the same as before. If being a spendthrift is a discipline, LV Xiaobu used to just enter the house, but today it is already at its peak. Sure enough. LV Xiaobu knew from their reaction that there must not be this famous dish in the world. Fortunately he remembered. First, use fresh ingredients such as hooves, ribs, and scallops from old hens, old ducks, and premium ham to put them into a boiling water pot. Remove any blood and impurities from the pot and wash it clean. Then, put them together into a soup pot and add enough water, ginger, scallions, seasoning wine, and other ingredients that can make the soup more delicious. Remember to switch to low heat and keep it simmering slowly until the soup has a fresh taste. Beat the clean chicken breast into minced meat, stir the minced meat into soybean milk with cold fresh soup, and pour it into the boiled fresh soup. At this time, the fresh soup will have a wonderful scene, and the impurities in the soup will be absorbed on the minced meat. After about 10 minutes, remove the spherical object and discard it. Repeat this process 2.3 times until the soup is clear and transparent like boiling water. Then choose a good cabbage, take a tender and fist-sized cabbage with white leaves and stems, and carve it into a pure white and flawless lotus flower. Finally, use a large spoon to pour the warm and hot soup over the cabbage repeatedly until the outermost layer of the stem is fully cooked and softened by touching it with your hand. Remember, you can't cook it all. You need to slowly heat it until it's cooked. LV Xiaobu looked at Su Yi and said, do you understand? I understand, but... Su Yi looked conflicted and finally said, what a loser. Oh my goodness. Is it delicious? Let's put it aside for now. He has never seen such a despicable recipe before, using so much fresh food, and surprisingly, for just one cabbage. What kind of person could come up with such a despicable recipe? Also, is this a light meal? This is bigger than big fish and big meat. Sure enough, I knew it was definitely not that simple. Wu Shimin felt a headache, and even if she ate a dish, she could be so despicable. She took it. Although LV Hongbin and LV Wenhua were also shocked, they resisted to some extent and didn't say anything. Su Yi, go ahead and make it. LV Hongbin gave a bitter smile and said, today, I'll also try this dish from the black sheep. Okay, Su Yi went to do it. Young Master Xiaobu, this is what you want. Su Yi carefully picked up a small porcelain bowl and opened it, with an indescribable strange expression on his face at this moment. LV Hongbin looked at the simple dishes in the bowl and couldn't help but say, if I hadn't known in advance that this thing would cost a lot, I would have thought it was really just water soaking a few cabbage hearts, and I couldn't even see a star of oil flowers. Don't wait, eat. LV Xiaobu reached out his chopsticks and picked up a cabbage for LV Hongbin and Wu Shimin, then stuffed another one into his mouth and started eating. Seeing LV Xiaobu picking up vegetables for them, LV Hongbin and Wu Shimin showed an incredible expression on their faces. When will this spendthrift be considerate of others? Wu Shimin looked at LV Xiaobu's heartless expression and suddenly felt a sense of guilt. If I leave, what will he do? LV Hongbin looked at Wu Shimin's eyes and smiled without saying a word. Sure enough, this little spendthrift has opened his mind, and even LV Wenhua may not know how to do it. While thinking, he put the cabbage in his mouth. Result, this. His eyes suddenly widened. Brother LV. Wu Shimin looked at LV Hongbin's stunned gaze, somewhat puzzled. LV Hongbin remained silent, just pointing to the boiled cabbage and letting Wu Qianmin eat it. Let me try it, Wu Shimin picked it up. She actually doesn't want to eat it because she is a relatively frugal girl, and she always feels inexplicably guilty about eating such luxurious things. Result. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Warm thoughts and what, seeking collection, seeking recommendation, seeking tickets. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 Warm thoughts, seeking collection, seeking recommendation, seeking tickets. Wu Shimin originally took a gentle bite, but couldn't stop the next second. In no time, a cabbage and lotus flower all entered her stomach. Delicious, it's so delicious. A hint of enjoyment appeared on her face. Fresh and elegant, with a rich and mellow aroma, a strong soup flavor that is not greasy or greasy, soft and delicate, not like a delicacy, better than a delicacy. No, I want to have another one. The little sense of guilt in her heart had long been extinguished by the impact of this delicious meal, a disgrace. No. This is not a loser, but a value for money. Hiccup. At this moment, LV Xiaobu let out a deep hiccup, put down his chopsticks, and said to Su Yi, not bad. I thought you couldn't make it, but I didn't expect it to be delicious. I'll give you 5,000. This. Su Yi was stunned, didn't he agree that I would treat this meal? He'll give it to you, then take it. LV Hongbin shook his head and smiled bitterly. Xiao Bu even rewarded his second brother, what are you? Okay, Su Yi said helplessly, what's this called? Is it gone? It's gone. Wu Shimin looked at the empty porcelain bowl, but suddenly felt extremely disappointed. She turned her head and stared at LV Xiaobu. LV Xiaobu, don't you know how to leave one for someone else? Aren't you not eating? LV Xiaobu patted his stomach and said, I still have one in my bowl. Here you are. Wu Shimin stared at the last cabbage in LV Xiaobu's bowl, lost in a state of confusion. That's the bowl where LV Xiaobu eats, there must be LV Xiaobu's saliva inside. But if you don't eat it, it's gone. Eat or not? Don't eat, then I. LV Xiaobu chuckled. I think it's beautiful. Wu Shimin immediately picked up the cabbage and put it in her mouth. Then her pretty face instantly turned red to her neck. What am I doing? No, LV Xiaobu must have wanted to throw it away just now. I was just trying to save, that's right, that's it. Wu Shimin found a reason for herself that she didn't even believe. Hee, indirect kiss. LV Xiaobu looked at Wu Shimin's expression and was moved by her heart. It's not his fault, who made her think so much. Humph, be careful, I'll bite you to death. Wu Shimin snorted, but her pretty face turned even redder. Bite. LV Xiaobu said meaningfully. LV Xiaobu, ah. Wu Shimin, who was not a child, instantly understood that chasing after him was about to hit LV Xiaobu. LV Xiaobu ran away and said, Big brother, I'm going to be a spendthrift. Wait a moment, young Master Xiaobu, can you allow me to make and sell this dish? Su Yi suddenly shouted to LV Xiaobu's back with immense anticipation, I can guarantee to make a big profit. You ask my big brother, LV Xiaobu's voice echoed back. You're talking to a spendthrift about making money, your mind is full of tricks. Su Yi was speechless. What you said made sense, but I had nothing to say. Su Yi, can this black sheep dish really make money? Although it tastes good, the cost is too high. If the price is too low, it won't be able to recoup the cost. LV Hongbin immediately asked. Yes, that's great. Su Yi looked excited and said mysteriously, Boss, you come. LV Hongbin frowned and followed Su Yi to the kitchen. Look here, Su Yi opened a pot, which was half a pot of soup as clear as water. Hiss. LV Hongbin patted his thigh and said, yes, this dish sounds like a waste, but in reality, it can make a lot of soup. That's right, the essence of this dish lies in this soup. As long as we promote the reputation of being a spendthrift, the price of this dish can be appropriately increased, and then we can quietly make a fortune. Su Yi rubbed his hands, extremely excited. Okay, that's great. I'll leave this matter to you. You must keep this secret. Let's say it was instigated by this little black sheep, LV Xiaobu. Double the cost and report it. LV Hongbin laughed heartily and said, this little black sheep has a good level of defeat. He knew in his heart that the manufacturing technology for mobile phone CPUs, although of high value, was definitely not something that could be monetized in a short period of time, it could only be done slowly. But this boiled cabbage is different. As long as the operation is good, huge benefits can be obtained in the short term. That's right, this is not such a spendthrift, it's like the god of wealth. Su Yi's eyes began to sparkle with stars. Goddess of wealth, I guess this little spendthrift probably heard the recipe from somewhere. He didn't even know there would be so many tricks, LV Hongbin scolded with a smile, but his eyes were filled with pride. As LV Hongbin guessed, LV Xiaobu didn't know about these things. He saw this boiled cabbage from a movie on Earth, and he remembered that a lot of things could only be made once in the movie. But that's not important, what's important is that he will continue to be a black sheep. Okay, I'll give up. After running less than 500 meters, LV Xiaobu was exhausted and panting, unable to walk a step, and could only surrender to Wu Shimin. The sample still dares to run with me. Wu Shimin raised her powder fist with a bold and imposing expression, only gasping for breath. Hey! LV Xiaobu sighed. The road to becoming a spendthrift is heavy and far, and even a girl can't run away. However, there is currently 300,000 in a card, and if defeated, it will only have 3 attribute points, which is still acceptable. Where are we going to be a loser? LV Xiaobu touched his chin and suddenly his eyes lit up. Got it, go to the bar. How can you go to that kind of indecisive place? You don't know, I definitely won't go. Wu Shimin was a bit unhappy. If I don't go, you can't go either. LV Xiaobu has a headache. His elder brother gave him the death order that he wouldn't have gone anywhere without Wu Shimin by his side. So before, my ex, I had never been to such a place because Wu Shimin didn't go. However, LV Xiaobu's eyes rolled around and suddenly said innocently, it's not my fault. What's wrong with being full of warmth? You don't want me to do that. I have to find a place to do that. LV Xiao. Boo. You. Wu Shimin was completely angry. What? Don't worry, I only look and won't do anything. LV Xiaobu quickly assured. That's okay. Wu Shimin breathed a sigh of relief, but then reacted and her face turned red in an instant. What does it matter to me whether you take action or not? Who knows? LV Xiaobu looked up at the sky. You. Wu Shimin gritted her teeth angrily. Okay. You can go, you think it's none of my business if you don't go. She said she was angry, but couldn't help but feel angry in her heart. For some reason, she always felt that today's LV Xiaobu was very pleasing to the eye, a lot. Hee, LV Xiaobu chuckled softly. Although his body doesn't allow him to do that, let's see if it's still possible. I heard that the girls inside are all that kind of thing. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. This girl is not bad, seeking collection, recommendation, and tickets. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. This girl is not bad, seeking collection, recommendation, and tickets. LV Xiaobu and Wu Shimin arrived at the largest bar. Night Drunk Love. At the door, Wu Shimin suddenly hesitated and said, Xiao Bu, why don't you go? Or I can sing with you at the KTV. I heard there are many rules here, and if you don't know the rules, you can easily be fooled. What are you afraid of? LV Xiaobu rolled his eyes and said, the rules are set by people. As a spendthrift, can I still be afraid of the rules? Wu Shimin was speechless. You made so much sense, but I had nothing to say. As I walked into the bar, the noisy heavy metal music immediately filled my mind, causing me to sway along without intuition, full of a luxurious atmosphere. LV Xiaobu shook his head and brain in a rhythmic pause before arriving at the busiest bar. What would you like to order? Dressed in fashion, with a tall figure and a black leather jacket paired with fiery red waves, the passionate and charming female bartender. Liang Lan asked out loud. There are many men gathered here at the bar, it seems they are all here for her. 2 glasses of juice, said LV Xiaobu. He looked at Liang Lan in front of him and raised his eyebrows. This girl is not bad. The bar is indeed a good place. Liang Lan frowned slightly, looked at LV Xiaobu, then at Wu Shimin, and suddenly said, Guest, you should be coming to the bar for the first time. I suggest you order a glass of wine, whether you drink or not doesn't matter. Why? No drinks? LV Xiaobu asked. That's not true, but if you order a drink, it's easy to be misunderstood, the bartender explained. Men who order drinks at bars are easily mistaken for ducks. I don't think you want that to happen either. That's true. LV Xiaobu nodded. What wine would the guest order? Liang Lan breathed a sigh of relief. Although she didn't know LV Xiaobu, she could tell that LV Xiaobu was not an ordinary person. If it caused trouble, it wouldn't be what she wanted to see. No more alcohol, continue to serve me juice. LV Xiaobu waved his hand. Guest, you. Liang Lan was taken aback. Give me the microphone. LV Xiaobu took the microphone and jumped onto the bar, saying to the microphone, Feel free to drink, everyone. This round belongs to me, young master. Yeah. The bar suddenly became lively, and everyone looked at LV Xiaobu. Thank you, young master. Even many beautiful girls have started to approach the wealthy Lu Xiaobu. But I want to drink juice. Someone said I'm a duck, am I a duck? LV Xiaobu stood at the bar, shouting through the microphone. No, pure men, real men. Ha ha ha. The atmosphere of the bar has become increasingly lively. Well said, one more round, it's also mine, LV Xiaobu laughed heartily. Remember my name, the spendthrift LV Xiaobu. Thank you, real man. LV Xiaobu. The black sheep. LV Xiaobu. The black sheep. LV Xiaobu. The atmosphere of the bar suddenly reached its peak. Countless beautiful women, with teasing eyes, began to actively approach LV Xiaobu. Solved. LV Xiaobu snapped his fingers and lowered his head to say to the female bartender. Puff. The bartender laughed, he was really a spendthrift. A glass of wine can solve the problem, and it suddenly costs 10 to 20,000 yuan. But this person is really interesting. He even claimed to be a spendthrift without any hesitation. Suddenly, she felt a fiery gaze, looked up, and suddenly realized that it was LV Xiaobu who was using high convenience to have a clear view. She was not shy either, but instead gave a charming smile and straightened her body, teasing LV Xiaobu. LV Xiaobu's eyes were all straight. So big, so round, so white, so deep, and even the small bean cubes began to swell. Does it look good? A voice came in. It looks good, Lu Xiaobu said subconsciously. Do you still see it? Wu Shimin's gritted teeth voice came over. She didn't know why, but looking at LV Xiaobu's straight and hooked eyes, she felt very uncomfortable in her heart. Cough cough. LV Xiaobu suddenly realized that it was Wu Ximin's voice. He coughed and quickly jumped off the bar. He felt that if he continued to look, his disheartened body would be bleeding from his nose. "You're so generous, I'll treat you to this juice." Liang Lan pushed 2 cups of juice over and then reached out to order the table, revealing a piece of paper and smiling seductively at LV Xiaobu. LV Xiaobu lowered his head and saw a phone number with a heart drawn behind it. The people around suddenly made a commotion. This night at the Drunk Love Bar, there were countless people staring at Liang Lan every day, but unexpectedly, this new guy got in first. Oh! Surprisingly, someone really got Liang Lan's phone number. Lu Xiaobu, the despicable son of the family, is amazing. Hu Mei Zi. Wu Ximin also saw it and immediately gritted her teeth. "Ximin, come on, my phone. I need to save my phone number." LV Xiaobu reached out his hand to Wu Ximin. He doesn't have a phone now, and that phone is with Wu Ximin. "No, I won't." Wu Ximin was still sulking. At this moment, an arrogant voice suddenly came over. TSK, what kind of loser are you pretending to be? Did you use all your wealth to attract girls? The sound moved from far to near and finally came to LV Xiaobu's side. "Surprisingly, you don't even have a phone. I think you should give me this phone number." A mobile phone was photographed by this person on the bar counter. This sound caught everyone's attention. "Oh my goodness, it's actually an Angel brand phone, 8888. How rich. It's too luxurious to casually throw your phone." Liang Lan listened to these people's words and shook her head. A group of ignorant people. When LV Xiaobu invited those 2 rounds of wine just now, his eyes didn't blink. Just those 2 rounds of wine could buy several mobile phones. However, she also knew that the benefits of sharing only 1 or 2 glasses of alcohol were far less impactful than the action of throwing a phone. Lu Xiaobu ignored this person and looked at Wu Ximin with a smile. "Are you jealous? Are you jealous? Are you jealous?" "I'm not jealous of you," Wu Qianmin exclaimed angrily. Lu Xiaobu doesn't pay attention to this person, and she's too lazy to do so. It's just an 8888 phone, pretending to be a tycoon in front of Lu Xiaobu. Joke, LV Xiaobu lost one today and smashed another. "Then give me your phone," LV Xiaobu reached out. "If you don't give it, then don't give it." Wu Ximin wrinkled her Qiong nose and played pranks. She was unhappy when she thought that LV Xiaobu wanted his phone to remember the phone number of this seductive person. But she's definitely not jealous, definitely not. However, they ignored the person, who instead became enthusiastic. "Did you 2 poor people hear me? I said, give me the phone, that's not something you can have. Poor ghost. Are you talking about me? To be honest, I don't like that title." LV Xiaobu smiled. "Did you see my kneeling position? If you don't see me, do it again." End of this chapter.